So there are some modifications we're doing. Suio Ryu has many different types of weapons, as well as different positions that we start from because of the concrete. Usually we bow to the swords from a seiza position, but we're making some switches just so we're not hurting our knees or damaging our hakama. So we're going to start with solo techniques. Each practitioner is going to perform 5 of their choice of tachi iai, or iai standing up. Large curriculum. Iai is a major part of the art that we study. One distinction we can make is the iai sets, even though they are using techniques or waza that are meant for combat, these technically are not combat forms. They're really a study or practice on learning and understanding the techniques. So one of the interesting or beautiful things about Suio Ryu is all our iai movements or kata can also be paired. So we're going to show you some iai sets paired. You see that there's 2 pairs today. One that will be using iaito, and they will not be making contact, so you can look at the timing of their movements. The second group will actually do the same kata with contact, so you can see more specifically how the techniques work.
Where do you want to go, Joe? Can I watch this one?
So I think the way we're going to do this, so the folks with the iaito will go first, followed by the bokuto with contact. you note, unlike Kendo, I believe, demonstrated earlier today, is they do start with the swords in the saya, or sheathed, before they begin their movements. Most of the paired work, there's also a motodachi and a shidachi, or a person that initiates the attack and the person that's responding. What you see in this kata is different circumstances that they are responding to. So this is one where someone is being followed by someone who they feel their presence and their attack from behind. So the other distinction to make is this set of paired kata are actually individual kata that we just happen to be able to pair so you can see the actual application. Set is called Kumiai. This is actually formally paired Iai sets with Bokuto. Much as possible, they are trying to emulate the timing, the movements of if they were in actual combat. Okay. also notice there's different targets and different ways of using the sword, whether it's a ski or a thrust to the body or a cut. Is defending using a staff to defeat the sword. So we're going to give you an example of Joho. Etiquette or Reiho in this weapon set too, so they're going to formally bow to each other. Jo is another fundamental part of Suio Ryu. close with the same reho as they started. Designed for wearing kimono. Suio Ryu also has a battlefield weapon system, many in the curriculum. So these sets are ideally they're designed for performing in or when we're in full Japanese armor. So we're not going to be wearing armor, but keep that in mind. So what you should see is that the movements are a little bit more deliberate, and a lot of the attacks are positions where there would be gaps or joints in the arm. This is again paired set called Kenpo. If you notice, we use a slightly heavier bokuto, Kenpo bokuto. So because these sets picture them wearing armor, is the sword is already out. The other thing to consider is these sets are also designed with the idea that you would be performing this outdoors, because you wouldn't really be wearing armor indoors. have one pair demonstrate Naginata against the sword. So the Naginata is an 8-foot polearm with a sword on the end. We're using wooden Naginata for safety.
那不见得。为什么枪吗？主要是穿鞋的，对，正反。哇，他死了。那个人不是太弱了，刀就斩了。不是，到这算谁死？一个人手没了，一个人。另外一个人没有啊，他不是挡住了吗？这女的刚刚。那个男的被干了，你有被干吗？他不是干了？没有，他干不到。
So for people that might be familiar with Naginata, one of the differences in Suio Ryu is the Naginata use is quite heavy. Demonstration of the importance of needing more than just arm strength to be able to use a weapon. Let's give them a hand. So to keep it interesting, we will now do Ai Naginata. So this is Naginata against Naginata. System. This is Kasurigama, which is a sickle and chain against a sword. So this is unique, I think, in the sword community Budo world. Suio Ryu also uses a different kind of kasurigama. If you notice, it almost looks more like a tomahawk. It's not necessarily a curved sickle, but a straight sickle. One thing a little different in this set is you'll see the swordsman isn't always just standing there, but he's kind of moving around. Normally that ball would be a metal ball, so it isn't always important to hit the individual. But if you got hit by it, that actually hurts too if you get hit by that. Very effective. So we're also going to give you an idea of a more advanced technique, which doesn't really have a name. So these demonstrations, these waza aren't something that you normally would see outside of Japan. So I think it's very special to be able to see this today. Some of the techniques, as you can see, are extremely effective. Take full use of my distance and timing. That concludes our demonstration. We'll bring them all out. So again, this is a Suio Ryu Iai Kenpo, USA. In California, there are a number of study groups here in San Francisco, the East Bay, Mountain View in the South Bay, Irvine, and Garden Grove. These groups carry on, and we try to forward the tradition that's over 400 years old founded by Mima Yoshi's Zamon Kaganobu. We train under the 15th continuous generation headmaster Katsuri Yamamitsu Kagahiro, who lives in Shimosuzi, Shizuoka Prefecture, Japan. So we hope you enjoyed the demonstration. To learn more about Suio Ryu, we have a flyer. Otherwise, you could look us up on Suio Ryu Iai Kenpo USA website. So thank you very much. Enjoy your afternoon.